again we present Dr. Jester Hairston and the Fairfax High School Madrigal Singers in the second of a series of presentations which focus upon Black American folk songs and themes. Today, Dr. Hairston will explain the characteristics evident in work songs.
Now we're going to do a work song. The work song, there were many, many work songs, and they grew up after the conflagration, after the Civil War. There were very, very few work songs before the Civil War, I'm pretty sure. I have nothing to base that on, but just plain deduction. The slaves were forced to work. They had to do certain types of work, and the beginning of the work songs took place, I'm pretty sure, after the war, when they were permitted to leave the plantations and went into little towns and went to work on the stone quarries or the railroad and so forth, and they received pay for what they were doing. So they had some incentive for singing, you see, and for singing. And a whole lot of various work songs grew up right after, during the Reconstruction days. The people who went in the tobacco factories making cigars, you know, there are a whole lot, I know a whole lot of work songs about cigars, making cigars. They were rolling. So they made songs that coincided with what they were doing, you see. And the fishermen, if a man had a group of blacks fishing, going out where they had to go out from Charleston out there to fish, these men made fishing songs, rowing songs, sea shanties. I know so many. And in Africa, I heard the men coming in with rowing these boats, fishing, and it coincided with rowing the boats. And then they had picking different things, songs about picking peas and then picking cotton. What's that little old song I used to know about? Cotton needs picking so bad, cotton needs picking so... This was when they picked cotton. And before the Civil War, you see, where they had to pick cotton for their master, they just picked, you know, just to do some work. But if they were making money for it, you got paid for the amount of cotton you picked. So then you had an incentive for picking more cotton. The more cotton you picked, the more you earned, you see. So then they made up little songs that would help the work seem lighter, you see. So they picked, cotton needs picking so bad, cotton needs picking so bad, cotton needs picking so bad, gonna pick all over this field. And that helped them, made the work seem light, you see. And then at other times, men had, a man who had the ability to lead people, lead singing, and these men would be pulling something, and he'd make a song up just that would coincide with the pull, and he was what you call song leader, and he didn't have to work. Many times, a lot of people would pay him more money than they paid in the rest of them, and he was singing and just keep working. And making up verses. He just make up a different verse and lead. So now the one that we're going to do now is called "This Old Hammer." This is a work song where these men in this song are laying rails. They laid rails. First you have to make your railroad bed, you see, with the rocks, and then you put the wooden ties across, and then you're ready to lay the rails. And when you put the rails on, then you have to tie the rails to these wooden ties by steel spikes. And these men walked along. They had big hammers. The sledgehammers, you see. The ordinary sledgehammer weighed about 7 pounds or 7.5 pounds. Then the little heavier, I think, was 8. But John Henry, this song that we're singing is about John Henry. So he had a 9-pound hammer, a great big 9-pound hammer. And if you don't think a 9-pound hammer is heavy, you just stand there and hold it. You don't have to work with it. Just hold it for a few seconds like that. And your arm will break, you see. Just stand there and hold a 9-pound hammer and say stand still. You see, so John Henry in this song, he's our hero. He had a 9-pound hammer, and this, imagine the steel pin is in here ready to be hammered down. Ordinarily, you have to give it with a regular hammer about 4 licks. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then they go to another place like that. John Henry once, and see, it's like this. And he go to the next. Gone. Right on down the line, you see. And that's our song is with rhythmic like that. Keep a driving. And the men make noise like this to make them, help them with the work. They say, when you hear that now, these men are not sick. They're just trying to, they're trying to encourage themselves to do more work. So they're going to say, keep a driving, driving. Some places where I go, high school men say, but that's wrong, you see. Keep a driving. So we sing, this old hammer killed John Henry, but this old hammer won't kill me. In this song, the man says, I'm going to work a while and play a while. I'm not going to be as foolish as John Henry, who pitted his strength against that of the steam drill. So now let's go. This old hammer killed John Henry.
Driving, 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 ladies rail all day. Driving, 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 ladies rail. This old hammer killed John Henry. This old hammer killed John Henry. This old hammer killed John Henry. It won't kill me. But driving, driving, but driving, driving, but driving, driving, ladies rail. This old driving, 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 driving,
Going back to work songs, gee, I could talk a long time on the work song, because that's one of my pet subjects. The hundreds and hundreds of work songs that grew up during the Reconstruction days, and that's why I have so much respect for these old people who could improvise and just create songs and verses about the work that they were doing. They had, I have books at home, just volumes of books with convict songs, even songs that convicts created. Those were work songs, where they used to have in the South especially. I don't think they had much in the North, but in the South, when the man was convicted and sent to jail, sent to prison, they put them out on the roads, building roads, you see, and repairing all kind of things. And they built up songs. They created many of songs because they had the men standing there watching them with the guns, you know, and see that they did the work. So many of these convict songs. One of my one song that comes to mind was they called the captain, called the head man, you see, a captain. And here's an old song where they have these men pulling a rope, you know, trying to, I don't know whether they were trying to pull a tree down or just pulling a boat. Back in those days, you know, they pulled boats along. And this song says, the leader says, if I'd have known my captain was blind, honey. And they all the men come in on, honey. If I'd have known my captain was blind, honey. I say, honey. If I'd have known my captain was blind, I wouldn't have went to work till 9:30. Honey, honey, all kind of songs, you see. And says, another verse to that crazy thing, he says, I asked my captain for the time of day, honey, honey. Ask my captain for the time of day, honey. I say, honey. Ask my captain for the time of day. Got so mad he throwed his watch away, honey. And all kinds of verses. They just made up verses, made up. Here's a song that came up. You young people weren't born, but I was asked to, CBS called me one day and wanted me to bring a group of songs over a group of people and do some work songs. And I didn't know that there were so many. He wanted all sea shanties. I knew a lot about the work songs such as I was singing for you, but I didn't know about the sea shanties. And he said, yes. I said, well, we don't have many sea shanties. And so I'll sit down here a little while. So he said, well, yes, you've got a lot of sea shanties, Jester. And I said, well, I don't know but a couple. He said, well, you go and get such and such a book. He told me what book to get. I went over to the library, music library, and here was a great big book like this on black sea shanties, you see. And one of them was out almost it was a great popular song. I got this book and made an arrangement of this song for the men, and we did it. And then shortly after that, I heard this same melody in a popular song, and the popular song was Cindy. You men don't know, and men and women, this was a song said, a love song. Cindy, oh Cindy, I love you, Cindy Lou. And he just went on, but with the melody. And it was my same song, this same song that the blacks created years ago called Pay Me. It was a sea shanty. And I told you about these men rowing the boats with fish in, they're coming in. And it says, the name of the black sea shanty is Pay Me. Pay me my money down. And these men are rowing, you see. You know, this is, pay me, oh, pay me my money down. Heave, pay me, or go to jail. Pay me my money down. And then the leader, I told you about the leader, he's the one that takes the verse and then the men. So he says, thought I heard my captain say, pay me my money down. Tomorrow is our sailing day. Pay me my money down. And then I made up verses too, just to show that you can do it. You see, I like to make up little verses, you know. It says, my wife told me this very day, pay me my money down. Don't come back home without your pay. Pay me my money down. And there you have it.